Let's talk about 10 reasons why your triceps really aren't growing. One of the reasons why you might not be getting the most out of your tricep routine is the sequence of exercises that you are using. It is really important not to start off with your heaviest exercises, especially if you have elbow issues. I have issues with elbow bursitis, and I also have shoulder issues, so it is really important that your elbows and your shoulders be thoroughly warmed up before you really get into the heavy stuff. The first exercise that I recommend that you do for triceps is a push down. It's easier on your elbows, and we're going to use just a regular bar. Now, one of the things that I see a lot of people do wrong is that they don't use a full range of motion. They'll be just like this. And you're really missing out on that triceps growth by not using a full range of motion. So let's say you're doing your first set and it's kind of a light set. You want to keep your elbows pinned to your side. You don't want your elbows flying up here, going back there, doing anything crazy. So it's right here. So you're coming all the way up. Press down, 1, 2, 3. Press down, 1, 2, 3. And this is getting a full range of motion, and you're getting a lot of blood pumped into your triceps. So you can still go heavy with this exercise, but be smart about it. Now, I always prefer the straight down method. I have seen people, do this. But when you do this, once again, make sure that you're getting a full range of motion, that you're letting it come all the way up, come all the way down. As I see people pressing down on it, like this. Now, granted, I've seen Jay Cutler do that particular exercise where he's really pushing down on it like this. But let's face it, I'm not Jay Cutler, and chances are you're not Jay Cutler. So let's stick with the basis, full range of motion, and I think you'll get much better results. But there's something I want you to realize, that you really can't fire individual heads of your tricep. So, even though you might be pulling out, you feel like it targets this more, but you're still firing all heads of the tricep. So I don't want anybody to get caught up in the idea that you can do a particular tricep exercise that's only going to affect one particular area, because that's just not true. Another option for tricep exercise is using a rope. But if you have shoulder issues, especially when it comes to internal rotation this way, it really bothers my shoulders to have that internal rotation. So I don't do this exercise anymore because it just hurts. So, but it's coming down and squeezing here. And once again, you have got to get that squeeze. You can't go super heavy on this because you're just going to get no control out of it. If you're just having to yank it down, you're not getting the benefit out of it. So you really want it to come down, squeeze it as hard as you possibly can, control it on the way up. Squeeze. So I'm coming, I come straight down to about here, and I come out. And with the weight, that internal rotation just kills me, so I really can't use that exercise anymore. But it is a really good one, and this is another one I'd probably do 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. I feel like it's really important to have at least one overhead tricep motion. And here's one of my favorites, and that is an overhead tricep extension using a cable. Normally I would do this exercise on a crossover machine, but today I'm just doing what I have available. So once again, you really want full range of motion on this. So when I see people do this exercise, this is what they end up doing, and they're only getting partial range of motion. So put your head down on your chest, let it get a full stretch, push out, push out. You're going to be limited by how much weight you can do on this because of the laws of physics. and that's something I can't violate at this time. So, you can only go so heavy. So this exercise, it's like dancing on a fine line as to what you can control and what you can actually get down and pull into place without it getting really ugly. So you might have to have a spotter with you, but I would probably only do like 3 sets of 8 to 12 on this. But you can get a really good pump out of this and get a lot of blood in that muscle. And if you pull out this way, you'll really feel it a lot more in here. But this is one of my favorite overhead tricep exercises. Here's an alternative overhead tricep extension that I really like. And I'm going to be using the cables and a rope, and I'm going to be pulling up this way. Now, the important thing is you don't want it spread out here. You're going to be limited by your rope. So try to keep those elbows tight. And I know, some guys are limited by shoulder mobility to make this work. But here's what this exercise looks like. Now I'm going to get on my side. Try to get as much extension in the back as possible. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I would probably only do 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps, go light, maybe even up to 15 reps, and just make sure that you get, a good hard squeeze. And I can't emphasize enough, never just fling the weight around. Have purpose, intention, and focus on every exercise you do. And then, that's one of the main reasons why you'll find that guys just don't grow, is because, or gals too for that matter, because they're just flinging the weight around. There's no mind-muscle connection. You're not focused on that muscle trying to get the most out of it that you possibly can. Let's talk about skull crushers, one of my favorite tricep exercises. So this is an exercise you can't go super duper heavy with because you do want to protect your elbows if you're having any elbow problems. And you could also do skull crushers with dumbbells as well. I just want to make sure that as you're going over, you're not splaying out too wide, and part of that has to do with your shoulder mobility. But be in control, smooth, and you just want to have time under tension with this exercise. So there's a couple variations. You can have the bar here and have it come down right onto your skull, the skull crushers, or you can have your arms back up here and do it more like the French press. So I'm going to demonstrate both methods for you. So I use more of the French curl method because it takes a little bit of the pressure off of my elbow. So let's take a look at it. Here is the standard skull crusher position, and as I like to call it, the noggin knocker with a squiggly bar. And we just go down. We're going to use a nice tempo. 1, 2, 3, up. 2, 2, 3, up. And you can do it in the French press position like this. And this is what I use. I feel like I can get a little more range of motion out of this. Don't flare your elbows out and keep it nice and tight, and you'll have a lot of success with that. And once again, keep that time under tension. Once again, the skull crushers, you just want to have good control over the bar, and I like to have a spotter for my last set. And try to be smooth, controlled, feel that muscle in action, and you're going to get a lot better results out of your skull crushers. If you're enjoying this content, please hit that like button. It really does help the algorithm. For every like button and every time somebody watches this, YouTube will recommend this out to 7 more people. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Masters Muscle. One of my favorite tricep exercises is the close grip bench on a Smith machine. So I use a Smith machine primarily because I might not need a spotter and I can go pretty heavy on this. So an important thing is I make sure that I do a lot of warm-ups, or I have my preliminary exercises before I do close grip bench, because this is going to be one of my heavy ones. If you want to put size on your triceps, this is a great hypertrophy exercise. I'll do 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps, and 50% load for my first set of 12. But I just really use a tempo so I get a lot of time under tension, and my last set of 8 is good form, nice and heavy. So when the bar drops, I want it right there on my sternum, and I'm gonna have my elbows right by my side. I don't want my elbows turning in or pressing out this way, so I can drive straight that way and really hit that tricep. Now, another thing that I do, and this just fits my physiology better, is that when I do a close grip bench, I have a slight incline, you know, the slightest or the smallest incline that I can get on a particular bench. I don't know why, but when I do a close grip bench as a flat bench, I feel it more in my chest than I do in my arms. So I have the slight incline, and I'm only going to come down so my upper arm is parallel to the ground, and then I go up, and I do not lock it out. So I'm keeping a lot of time under tension. So let's take a look at this exercise from one angle. All right, here we go. So I've already checked out the bar. So I'll put my arms straight up, put my hands there. I use a suicide grip or monkey grip, whatever you want to call it. And I can tell my forearms are perpendicular to the ground, my upper arm perpendicular to the ground, and I push. And I want to make sure that I feel tension on this the whole time. If you're trying to build your triceps up, then you need to make sure that you're getting plenty of protein. So go to Old School Labs and try vintage brawn like I do, and if you use my code MASTERSMUSCLE, you'll get 15% off. Dips are a great way to finish out your workout for your tricep. Now, this is an exercise that needs to be smooth and controlled. So, you know, you don't want to go super heavy on these because they will tear up your shoulders if you have bad shoulders, and form is king. So I would probably do 3 to 4 sets, you know, anywhere from 10 to 15 reps, but you gotta feel it and you gotta feel engaged. So let's go over the technique on how to do these the right way. All right, when you're doing dips, you don't want to be out really wide. You want to use a narrower grip, and you want to feel like you are driving through your hands. So I'm on the narrow part of the grip. As I come down, I'm only going just above parallel, and I drive up. I'm in control the entire time. I feel that tension on the tricep as I push up. Now you don't want to get down here because you're going to get a little bit more chest involved, and you have the chance of hurting your shoulders. So just to right here, there's the tension, and I'm not locking out my elbows. I'm just keeping the tension on there the entire time. So what about reverse grip triceps? So biomechanically, there literally is no difference between having your hand this way and this way. It really, biomechanically, it makes no difference. The muscle fires the same each way. But so here's the problem with this exercise. Now you're limited by your grip strength here or up into your thumbs. So there's really no advantage to go with a reverse grip. So honestly, I wouldn't waste your time with it. So here's another alternative. Instead of using a reverse grip, just use the ball, use your hand, come down this way. Now this might be an option for you if you have elbow bursitis or some type of elbow issue, that if you find that this grip bothers your elbow more, you can use this neutral grip this way. I know I've said this 100 times, but having time under tension and really making that mind-muscle connection is going to help this exercise so much. I hope you've gotten a lot out of this video. I'd be interested in hearing what your favorite tricep exercises are and what you feel like works best for you. So you can just put them in the comments below, and I'd love to hear it.